In this lesson, I'll show you 3 examples on how to solve allocation problems. Let's start with the easiest one. Question 1 reads, allocate $480 in the ratio of 5 to 3. The first thing that you want to do is add up how many equal parts there are, and you can do that by adding the terms in the ratio. So we have 5 to 3, 5 plus 3 is equal to 8. So there are 8 parts. Next, what you want to do is write down each of these numbers as a fraction. So we have 5 over 8, and we have 3 over 8. The reason why we do this is so that we can multiply the whole number, which in our case is 480, by 5 out of the 8 parts. So 480 times 5 out of 8, and 480 times 3 over 8. Let's go ahead and use our calculator for this. So we have 480 times 5 divided by 8 gives us 300. We'll interpret that in a moment. Similarly, 480 times 3 divided by 8 gives us 180. So in order to distribute $480 into 5 to 3 parts, 5 out of 8 of that is $300, and 3 out of 8 is $180. If you reduce down this ratio, you end up with 5 to 3. Let's move on to question number 2. Income of $75,000 is to be divided between the business partners based on the number of shares each partner owns. If partner A owns 25 shares, partner B owns 50 shares, and partner C owns 30 shares, how much will each partner receive? So what you want to do is write this down as a ratio. We have 25 to 50 to 30. And just like before, you want to sum up the parts. So we have 25 plus 50, that's 75, plus 30, that equals to 105. So you'll take 75,000 like this, and you'll multiply it to 25 over 105. Similarly, 75,000 times 50 over 105, and 75,000 times 30 over 105. Let's use our calculator, and I'll show you another way to calculate this. So you can write down 75,000, and rather than doing it in 2 parts like we did in question number 1, you can write down 25 over 105, or 25 divided by 105. Make sure that you put that in brackets, and you end up with approximately 17,857. And to 2 decimal places, you would end up with 17,857 decimal 14. Let's do the same thing for this one. 75,000 bracket 50 divided by 105. That gives us 35,714 decimal 28, and you can round that up to 29. Finally, rather than multiplying this out, what we can do is add the number that's on your screen plus 17,857 decimal 14, and we'll subtract the total 75,000 from this number, which gives us 21,428 decimal 57. Each of these numbers represents a dollar amount for partners A, B, and C. Finally, the last question, the hardest one in this video. 2 contractors agree to share revenue from a job in the ratio of 2 to 3. So 2 to 3 represents the ratio for revenue alone. Contractor A, who received the smaller amount, made a profit of $480 on the job. If contractor A's profit compared to revenue is in the ratio of 3 to 8, so this represents profit and that represents revenue, determine contractor A's revenue and the total revenue of the job. Let's start with A. So we're told the ratio for profit to revenue for contractor A, it's 3 to 8. So this represents profit, that represents revenue. We're told this profit is 480, and remember the difference between profit and revenue. Profit is what you end up with at the very end, whereas revenue represents the amount that you make in total before the expenses. So we have 480 to, we don't know the revenue, so we'll call that X. To solve for X, we'll rewrite this as 3 over 8 is equal to 480 over X, and we'll cross multiply. By that, I'll multiply 8 by 480. 8 times 480, that gives me 3,840. 3,840 is equal to 3 times x, that's 3x. Now dividing both sides by 3, we end up with 1280 is equal to the total revenue for contractor A. In question B, they want the total revenue of the job. For that, we need to use this ratio. Now, what's interesting about this ratio is that not only is it 2 to 3, but they tell us that contractor A received the smaller amount. So this number right here represents contractor A. This number represents contractor B. We know the revenue of contractor A. So we can set up a ratio. 2 to 3 is equal to 1280. So 2 represents contractor A, and he got 1280 for his revenue. The revenue for contractor B we don't know, but we do need to know what it is so that we can eventually add these up because we want the total revenue. So to find x, once again, we'll cross multiply by setting this up as a fraction. 3 times the number on your screen, and x times 2 is 2x. Eventually you divide both sides by 2, where you get 920. So x in this particular case represents 920, which is the revenue of contractor B, the person who got the higher amount. The question asks for the total revenue, so we will add this number and this number together, plus 1280 gives us the total revenue of the job at $3,200. So the total amount that they make from this job that they're doing is $3,200. Of that $3,200, contractor A, who received the smaller amount, got $1,280, and of that $1,280, he or she only pocketed $480. And there you have it. That is how to solve allocation problems.